Palworld is getting sued, and before this game is gone forever, I'm lying, it isn't going anywhere, probably. I wanted to share my experience with the game, and trust me, you're gonna want to stay to the end because things get absolute bonkers. So things started off a bit slow, crafting a tool bench to make items, the obligatory survival game pickaxe, and murder. After a bit of exploring, I was thinking maybe I'd catch my first pal, considering I've already made a pal ball, and things are going pretty smoothly so far. So I did it the only way I know how. Weaken the monster, throw the ball, climb on the ball. Alright, so attempt number 2 it is. It didn't take me long to get to where I was before, which is not very far. So that brings us to Operation Find and tactically catch only cute, kind species. I think I might need to work on the naming. My goal here is to catch my first pal without being lost into space. So I stand a bit farther back, line up my pal ball, and... okay, I think that was the wrong ball. Okay, attempt number 2. Stand back, line up the ball, and... you know what? These guys are a bit cooler than the chicken, so I think I'll try for this to be my first pal. Alright, I just gotta weaken it down a bit. Okay, he's not attacking. Fine. In fact, was not fine. It's been about 10 minutes of the playthrough, and it's almost ended twice already. From now on, I think I'm gonna try to play a bit safer. I guess I'm going with you, huh? You know what? Say what you want. He's kinda cute, I think. Come here, buddy. Alright, good talk. Things pick up a bit from this point on. I murdered some sheep for some new clothing, crafted a bow and arrow, bonded with little bro for a bit, that's his legal name by the way, and set my sights on my very next pal. Honestly, I'm getting pretty good at this, I'm not gonna lie. One paraglider later, and I ran into a cool looking pal. I think that says level... yeah, that's more like it. Welcome to the team, buddy. Who's gonna spend the rest of their life here? You are. You are. After wiping out a small ecosystem, I made some food for me and the gang, and did a good amount of exploring. At this point, I was pretty much immersed in the world of Pal. After this, I was pretty much lost in Palworld, discovering new species, structures, items. It all reminded me of the feeling of playing a certain similar game in the past for the first time again. That, coupled with the beautiful scenery and soundtrack, I was genuinely enjoying myself in this calm and peaceful setting. That is, until I heard some unfitting sounds for this primitive world.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
That's right, there's some bona fide, gunpowder-fueled democracy here. Which you probably already knew, since this game is just known as Pokemon with guns to most people. But there's literally been no sign of this so far in the journey. But don't worry, me and Pangolin fought valiantly side by side, together, to defeat this threat. Listen man, I like you, but if I go down, we all go down. It was all worth it in the end though, because I got to save this little guy.
We're saved! What's your name, new hero?
It's Titan.
Thank you. Thank you! Titan has freed us!
Oh, I wouldn't say free. More like under new management.
Yeah, you're staying in the PC forever, buddy. I decided to set up base right on top of those guys' spot because why not? And with that, I slept my first night in an actual bed. We up now, little bro. We up now. Pangolin was becoming my favorite fast, and I feel like little bro is starting to catch on, but I didn't see him fighting the armed guards for me. I upgraded my base a little more for the guys I had working there for a very real currency that they would definitely be receiving. Is that what I was supposed to say? Trust me guys, when my business takes off, I definitely won't immediately forget about the two of you and damn you to the pal box for the rest of eternity. After exploring for a bit more, I found a pretty interesting looking pal. A boar that just really seemed like I was meant to ride. So I think I'll just get it low enough to HP to where I can throw a pal spear and... so anyway, I wanted to keep exploring and I found a bridge leading to a new area. I chose to take fox parts with me just to light up the way. That, and I really like the guy, he's pretty cool. I saw some pretty cool looking pals, but since they were such a high level, I chose to ignore them. I guess I'll just turn to the left and keep walking safely with my pal friends. A level 30. Really? Immediately I turned around and started running. If pirate software taught me anything, it's that you don't look back during each stride. But Fox Parks, he heard no such bell. He stood on business and stared down this level 30 behemoth using the only attack he knew. He bought enough time for me and the rest of the squad to escape, but unfortunately, the first death. I didn't expect it to hurt this much. He was the second pal I ever caught and with us all this time in our adventure. And for him to just be taken out like that, I really just don't know how long it's gonna take for me to recover. Anyway, I got this cool looking little guy. He has a pretty cool name too. Really though, I wanted to play it safe from here on out. I was finally able to catch a bush roar. I was finally able to catch a boar rush. And as I suspected, you are able to ride it as a mount. And thus began Operation. Plan so far was, as I headed back to base, I bring all the useful items I can find throughout the way. Seeing my base on the other side of the ravine, I think I'll just calmly glide over. Huh, no stamina. Huh, it looks like my health bar is depleted. Okay, I'm drowning. There's no way this is how it ends. After Fox Parks' sacrifice, would I really die in such a meaningless, stupid way?
ウォーリーノット JQDNS for you are not meant to die here.
I somehow survived with about 10% health left. I've been making it out of some sketchy situations throughout my whole journey, with some especially close calls, but that isn't even the beginning of how close I'd be to death this day. I was finally able to craft the saddle I needed, making Operation an absolute success. And just look at that. It was definitely worth it. Even if I literally move faster without it, it reminds me of a certain motorcycle I owned. Anyway, a lot of menial tasks, exploring, and pal extermination later. I think it's time for me to sit back, relax, and have a bite to eat. Just a quick snack. Anything would do. Surely I have something. Yeah, I'm starving. Well, it was a good run, but this is it. This is how I go. I have no problems with passing away, surrounded by the pals I've adventured with and caught, and oh, 1 HP. I had no idea there was a hard stop to hunger damage. I thought I was absolutely cooked. I will not let this opportunity go to waste. Anything. I just need any food right now. Even cooking like this would do. I was desperately running around trying to get food from any pal I can find and staying as far back as possible because taking a single hit would mean the end of the run, and when I expected it least, by some grace of the Palworld gods, I survived this. Looking back, early in the playthrough, I crafted this shield, and once this bar above my health fills up, it blocks a small amount of damage. If not for this single item, I would have been cooked. Eventually, I was able to find some rush roars that I knew for a fact dropped core, and after forcing my own rush roar to murder his own kind so I can consume them right in front of him, I was finally safe enough to head back to base. After stocking up on some extra food and crafting some items, I was back to exploring and completing missions. On the way though, I ran into a pretty cool looking pal that I didn't want to pass the chance on catching. Even though at the time I only had one pal spear, I was convinced I would make it work, especially considering how fast this thing was running. It was like a challenge on its own trying to keep up. From its design, I just had a feeling I'd be able to ride this thing. But I think I underestimated how much damage it would be doing, because both me and my pinglet got uncomfortably low here. But one pal spear and pirate software sprint later, and Ultree was part of the team. I'm not even sure if that's the... Oh, and also this guy, because I may or may not have spoiled myself watching a YouTube video after I got launched into space the first time to see what happened. And apparently, this is just a normal thing people do to get a boost for glide. One quick craft later, and we are officially gliding in style. Now, as you can see, some mining may have been done off camera. Some mistakes may have been made. It may have been somebody's job to record the gameplay yesterday, but a certain pal left the lens cap on the camera during a full hour and a half of gameplay. Listen, I'm not pointing any fingers or naming names, but it was all Little Bro's fault. Quite honestly, I think he did it on purpose. But you really didn't miss out on too much. Just some menial tasks, mining, base upgrades, weapon and armor upgrades, area bosses, a new mount, a daring escape after loot drop filled with explosions, gunshots, and last second split decisions. Yeah, the usual. But there's so much more left to be done today. But honestly, None of those events are even close to how crazy today gets. Starting the day off, I wanted to take on this here area boss, and to get there, I needed to cross this bridge. But apparently bosses respawn after you kill them for the first time, which I know now because I definitely murdered this guy yesterday. Knowing what to expect this time though, it was just light work this time around. Continuing on my mission, I noticed a cool pal I hadn't seen before, Direwolf. It looked pretty cool, and it'd be a nice fitting addition to the team. So I get it real low, line up my pal spear, and alright, this is the one. I'll go in with a plan this time. I'll get it real low, call my alpaca back so nothing can kill it, line up my pal spear. Yeah, just do it, buddy. It didn't take long for me to finally run into school. The boss I'd been hunting for this entire time. Unlike the last boss, he had a few goons here with him. After literally kidnapping one of them, it was basically an ambush, with fire and shots flying everywhere, running in and out between the trees. I kept firing my arrows and taking cover in between. After kidnapping another one of them, I made quick work out of the rest of the goons and wait. Was Scoop actually ever here? So apparently the whole time that wasn't the actual boss, and just a random encounter with wild pals coincidentally standing around. He was probably off subscribing and ringing the bell next to it or something. Smart man, smart man. A lot to learn from the guy. After scaling the rest of the mountain, I'm talking to you personally now. Subscribe. After scaling the rest of the mountain, I run into Scoot, and this battle was pretty anticlimactic. With that done, I was able to head back to base and upgrade my gear a bit. A crossbow, a saddle for elk tree, a grappling gun. With all I was getting, it really feels like I was gearing up for something big, and that I was. Operation Syndicate Tower. I came here before and noticed it was giving me the option for a boss battle. That coupled with the ominous quest that's been on my journey bar for a while now, that was basically letting me know that there was a serious chance of death if I entered. Let me know that I'd have to be in tip-top shape before I challenged it if I wanted any chance of survival. I still didn't know what to expect even as I was entering the tower itself. With how many bosses I've been taking down with ease up until this point, it shouldn't be that hard, right?
Get ready for the next battle. Section 8, new challenger!
I was way more underprepared than I ever expected when I entered the tower. Just the health bar of the boss was enough to throw me off. I'd never even encountered anything with so much health before. The plan was to rely on hit and run tactics, hiding behind these conveniently placed towers while reloading my crossbow, and leaving my pals to tank the main damage. I quickly noticed that if I leave them to fight for too long, it wouldn't be too much time until they end up with foxparks. I ended up taking a lot more damage than what I was expecting, and after I tried to take that aggro off Incineran, I was only one hit away from death at this point. I had to play safer and leave it up to my pals while I stayed further back from the fight. I'd tackle my 3 strongest pals whenever each one of them would get below half health, and focus on landing critical hits on the girl riding the back of the giant pal. 5 minutes left on the clock, and with the boss under half health, things are going pretty well. After a quick ring around the rosy, Incineran was able to close it out for the win. No lives lost. After this fight, I felt on top of the world. I was already looking through my map to see the next boss fight or challenge, and after a quick exploration through a dungeon near my base and catching a few pals, I decided. It showed that the boss here was only level 15, and with all the gear I've had, and my pals being level 14 alongside me, I think I could be confident for once that it'd be easy. After this, I was immediately humbled. One more hit and I was gone. 2 near misses when I was on less than half health, and I knew I had to just focus on evasion and hit and run tactics again. But with the boss so low and a stockpile of upgraded pal spears, I was determined to do something different this time. I'd catch the boss. The first one I sent out wasn't enough to keep it down, which is to be expected. I switched to my mega spears that I'd crafted just for this situation. The chances were a lot higher to catch this time, and I had a good amount in stock in case it broke free. But at that moment, I saw which pal was standing right next to me. I hate you so much. Things slowed down a bit from here though, is what I would say if I was lying. After this, I immediately went to an enemy outpost filled with gunmen and grenadiers, and alongside Incineran, stormed the place with no cover to take them out. It was all worth it at the end because I got to save this cool looking guy. You're gonna stay in the pal box forever, buddy. Exploring the area a bit more, I found a pretty cool pal that I wanted to catch. A cool pink ram made out of cotton candy. It wasn't too hard to get, even though its level was pretty high, but after some walking around, I heard a pretty strange sound. Following the noise is where I saw this. After doing some research, apparently this is what's called a lucky pal, the equivalent to a shiny Pokemon in Hopefully not. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't want to let this opportunity go to waste. Keeping my regular strategy, I stayed back and lowered its health while having a power tank to burn up the damage. But at the same time, I only had one Mega Spear on me, but it just had to work. I sent it out, a 32% catch rate. It landed, and wow, it actually worked for once. So I pretty much got all I wanted out of this area, and I was about to head back to base when I chose to talk to two guys sitting around the fast travel beacon. When one of them mentions wanting to see a pal by the name of Serpent, something I definitely had in my pal box, I just had the idea to quickly bring it back to give the man what he wanted. Little did I know, this action would mark the end of this playthrough. I head back to base, come back with him in my party. Now, my mindset here is that if I talk to this guy again, he's definitely gonna want to trade for my Serpent. So I want to test my theory that I've had real quick. If I can surf on water with this guy, looks like a striking success to me. So I turn around and start heading to the guy, and I see two interesting pals flying in the air. And here, I make a fatal mistake. I try to catch one of them. All is going well, I'm weakening them, dodging, but then I get clipped by one while gliding. Immediately I run back for cover behind the quick travel beacon, and then the second mistake. I leave my cover and try to book it out of aggro range, and it happens. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week.